Try again. Hopefully my internet is a little more stable right now. Anyway, yeah, so hi, welcome to the stream. So the last time I managed to finish Resident Evil 3, and one of my viewers, Wingso, suggested that I should continue with Resident Evil 4. I'm trying to see if this game is playable while I'm on stream. It does look kinda heavy. I'm playing this on an emulator, by the way. So, let's see. Anyway, one thing I missed from my last stream while I was playing Danganronpa is that I got another follower, but the alert didn't pop off suddenly. Strangely enough. So, Captain Sweet Cheesy, thank you so much for the follow. You're probably not here right now, but I just would like to thank you for following my channel. Okay. So far, so good. I didn't see any noticeable frame drops. There is slight stuttering with the audio. Okay, not that way. I talk to them again. Hi, are you still sexist?
Forget your makeup or something?
Yeah. Again.
Forget your makeup or something?
Okay, I guess that guy doesn't have any more lines. That's all he says. Anything around here, maybe? I did play Resident Evil 4, but like, it was a long time ago, and I believe I didn't finish the game. So, I consider this pretty much my first playthrough. It was a very long time ago, and I was playing it on my PlayStation 2. I do remember having a hard time with pretty much the very beginning. The tutorial part, actually. Nothing? Aw. I got an ammo when I play it this afternoon. I was just testing my OBS and my emulator if it can play this game. It can, but my connection was pretty terrible. Does it say? There are various small items on the shelf. Nothing particularly unusual here. Okay, it's just a bookcase, I guess. Oh,
Excuse me, sir? I was wondering if you might recognize the girl in this photograph.
¿Qué carajo estás haciendo aquí? ¡Lárgate, cabrón!
Sorry to have bothered you.
oh,
Freeze!
Wow, rude.
I said freeze!
Just want to know where the girl is. I kick him. Okay, that's much better than what I did this afternoon.
Shit.
Who's coming?
Is everything okay?
There was a hostile local. I had no choice but to neutralize him. There are still others surrounding the area.
Get out of there and head toward the village. Take whatever measures necessary to save the subject.
Understood.
Oh no. Can I check it? Check him? It's not a zombie. So you just killed a dude. Oh. Looks like they've killed a lot of people. I hope Ashley's okay. So what exactly is Leon's job now? Is he like a mercenary? Oh no. Oh shit! No, 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 no! Dang it. Why are you running into a tree, Leon? Shit. Now you guys can see that I have terrible aim. Okay. Oh no! I thought I could kick him, apparently not. What do you have? Do I open my inventory? Okay. Oh shit! Whoa! That's pretty terrible. Halo Arte Prensia, makasih udah join lagi. Ini kayaknya udah gak gitu nge-lag deh. Kayaknya ya, sejauh ini. Use. Because you're dying, Leon. Oh, incendiary grenade. Didn't get that last time. At least I didn't have to use ink ribbon. So, unlimited save. That's nice. See a straight way to go. Oh, that doesn't look good. Ya, itu aku nggak tahu kenapa. Aku coba kecilin aja kali ya suara mic-nya. Nggak tahu itu kenapa. It is kind of distracting if you're watching the stream while wearing a headphone. Sorry about that. Aku udah coba cari itu kenapa sih, tapi kayaknya belum nemu. It looks like a warning of some sort. I have a bad feeling about this. Oh, Dogo. Hi, Wingso. Thank you for joining. How's your day? um, everything is good. I'm still in the middle of writing my graduate thesis, but you know, I'm feeling kind of burned out, so like I figured may as well try to stream some games and refresh. Oh, Okay, there's a bunch of traps here. Gotta watch out for that. Is the audio fine now? The guidepost reads Pueblo. Oh, what are those? Finishing the night shift. Glad to see you that you're tuned to survival horror. Yeah. So are you at work right now? That kinda sucks that you have a night shift again. Is there a way to disengage this? What do you call this? I know this is a bomb. I'm not supposed to walk through that. Maybe all I have to do is just evade it. Thing around here. Oh my god. No. Maybe I can use the trap. Oh, what the f- Can't believe I said that. I have to watch out for that, and then I got the trap. I got caught in the trap. Shit. Oh no. I can see that I have terrible aim. Okay, not that way. Because the walk is too narrow. That's an ammo, right? Yep. Thank you. Oh, your birthday is on Monday? Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Wingso. Are you taking the day off on your birthday? Maybe have a little get together with some friends? I personally don't do much during my birthday. It's usually just me and my parents and my brother going to dinner. Oh, there's more of them. No, let me see. Thank you. Where is it? Oh, there's someone stabbed with a, what do you call that? Guess there's no sex discrimination here. Better find her fast. Why did these villagers suddenly become murderers? Oh. I kick it. Kick him. Shit. Can't kick him. So what do I have to do? He's red now. Not just something familiar. My friends are very busy. We will only be something quiet. Well, you can always do something without having to be together with your friends. But I mean, everyone has their own preference on how to spend their birthday, so feel like a calm, maybe a quiet day, free from work, that's fine as well. Oh shit, I didn't see you. I didn't see him in there. Sneaky. Nope. Oh shit. God dang it, I just wasted ammo. So what's the strat here? Like, what's the strategy to take down the enemies? I just figured shoot them in the leg. I don't really know. I do that just because I have terrible aim. I can never do a headshot for some reason.
Leon, how you holding up?
Bad question, Hunnigan.
Sorry to hear that. I'm sending you a playing manual. Hope you find it useful.
I'll take a look at it, thanks.
What is she sending? Playing manual. Okay, this is the tutorial. Reloading, press the B button while holding down the R button to reload your firearm. Approaching enemies either stand on or on their knees. Okay, I think the enemies was stand before, but the prompt just didn't show up. Changing inventory screen. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully my aim will be a lot better as the game continues on. Oh. Chicken. Whoa. Why is there someone being impaled there? Any more chicken? What am I looking at here beside the guy being impaled and burned? Don't have any healing items beside the spray. Yeah, let's just take this easy, Leon. Let's take this easy. Can he crouch? No? Zombie chickens. Does that mean I can eat those chickens? God. I thought there was someone right near me. How do I sneak past this woman? It's gonna take here. Oh, red herb. Thank you. No, no, that's not a prompt. Where's the freaking prompt to kick her? Oh, was that a headshot? Oh, I did not expect that. You know what I do remember from playing this game like years ago is that there's a guy with a chainsaw. And he's like one hit kill. I am terrified of that guy. Anything? No. Oh shit! Jeez. Oh, move away. Oh shit! Ah, God dang it! Oh my god. Is this difficult or am I just terrible? Identify with those villagers who have to use the translator to understand them. I mean, honestly, big mood. It's like big mood for everyone whose first language isn't English. Oh, thank God. Alright, find it. There's more of them. I can't hear you. Oh! Oh my God! I do have to hit it in the head to get the kick from, I guess. Do not spend bullets on them. Try to enter a house that is on the side of the campfire. Oh! Oh! So that's how. Is it this one? Thanks for the tip. Thanks for the tip, Wingsel. Oh, too far for you? Can he cover this? Shelf is nailed to the wall. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Oh no. Ooh! Wait, how do I reload? Okay. Wow, there's so many of them. Shit! Got panic here. My God. It's just not that, it's the... Oh, it's the other one? Am I in the wrong place? Okay, he's freaking dying. I have to heal first. It's just as difficult as I remember it. Oh my God! How are their heads so, like, it's so breakable. It's like their head is made out of glass. Oh my God. Why are you not dead? Why are you still walking? There you go. That's a much better aim. Okay, flash grenade. Anything else in here? Unpleasant odor coming from the kettle. It sure doesn't smell like a refreshing drink to me. Meanie. Wingso is a big meanie. Just kidding. So which building do I have to get into? Is it this one or the other one? Maybe if I run away, they won't chase me. Okay, I can go out through the window. Okay, got it. I have to remember that. Oh, there's a slight lag here. What is that? That's a shotgun shells. Where's the shotgun? Can he jump from the tower? No. Wait, he doesn't even flinch after jumping from that height. Take it. Do you have any eggs for me? More boxes here. Ooh, yellow herb. What does that do? There is a shotgun on the second floor of a house. Alright. Mixing it with a green herb will increase your maximum health. Combine it with this one? Okay. Cool. Does that herb replace the blue one, or the blue one also exists? There are 2 or 3 houses that you can enter if I remember correctly. Okay, well, I entered one. So if there are more, then I just have to find the other 2. If I can evade these guys, obviously. Chicken! The chicken doesn't even want to attack me. Oh, it's that one, right? There's someone up there. Come here, jump. Jump, dude.
Who are these people?
Kill the cow? Wait, can I do that? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! That's it. That's the guy that I'm terrified of. Shit!
Son of
Okay, move this? Can you move this? Move this, please. Okay, the other way, Leon. There you go. And upstairs, I guess. Where is it? Okay, that's a shotgun, right? Okay, nice. Hand grenade and some money. We're just looting this place. Oh! How do you get in here? Oh, it's the ladder. Oh no, I have to do something. Run, run, please, please run. Me kick the shit out of you. You're not dead. Okay, throw the freaking ladder. My god. Oh my god. I don't think I've ever been this terrified while playing horror games. The fuck? Are you okay? You're not okay, Leon. Look at your health. Oh my god. No, don't freaking chainsaw me, please. Oh crap. Are you? Where's the dude with the chainsaw? I have to get rid of you first. Where's my freaking grenade? God, this must have been painful. I'm sorry if you come to this channel to see a quality gameplay. Because it's not happening. Not in this game, at least. Oh, shit! Oh my god, he's still alive. What the fuck? Yes, I'm aware that Leon is practically dying. You're throwing me a knife there? Oh. Is that it? I'm glad you enjoy it. Where are you guys going? Are you done? They're like, I'm done chasing this twink.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Exactly, Leon. Where's everyone going? Are they actual humans, by the way?
Hunnigan, I have some bad news. I've confirmed the body of an officer.
Oh, they are.
What's happened to the people here?
Leon,
Then why are
get
their
out of
heads so
there.
soft?
Look for a tower and follow the trail near it.
Got it.
They got infected by ancient parasite called Las Plagas? Wow, ancient parasite. Can I check out this dude? Look at him. What a way to die, right? What in God's name? If only he had come with me? What? You won't get impaled? I mean, look at you, Leon. You're not doing well yourself. That's a very gentle way of opening the door. What's that? Oh, I can't push this one. Oh, this is the other house. The T virus and B virus is also modified virus from the ancient one. Oh, that's a great lore. Oh, really? Wow. I'm glad that they thought that far. The lore just kept expanding. Can I kick this one? Okay. Keep kicking it. There you go. Okay, more shotgun shells. Oh, too far? Nothing? Yeah. And I hope someday I can play Resident Evil Village. It looks really cool from what I've seen on other people's streams and YouTube videos. I mean, that game has Lady Dimitrescu. I think that's her name. Like, that's already 100 for me. I don't care if that game is awful, because she makes it better. I know that game is not awful. It looks very good. Anything else? Is there anything else I can loot around here? Oh, shoot the cow. I can shoot the cow. You have to do that though? Hi. I can't pet it. Can I pet you? Hello? I feel bad though. What will happen if I shoot it? Oop. Okay. Maybe I should shoot it in the butt. god. I think this cow is built on brick. Are you okay? You don't even flinch. You just moan a little. How about you, chicken? Oh, is the chicken dead? I guess it's actual chicken then. Is this where I came from? I don't think so. I think that's the other way. Yeah. I mean, let's check out this place first. Okay, it won't open. What do you have for me? More money. And some flash grenade. I love how the characters in Resident Evil, when they are walking around while having low HP, it looks like they have stomachache. It just looks like Leon really has to go to the bathroom or something. There's nothing in here. But the other, building. What's that? Take? Alert order. Recently, there has been information that a United States government agent is here investigating the village. Do not let this American agent get in contact with the prisoner. For those of you not yet informed, the prisoner is being held in an old house beyond the farm. We will transfer the prisoner to a more secure location in the valley when we are ready. The prisoner is to stay there until further notice. Meanwhile, do not let the American agent near the prisoner. We do not know how the American government found out about our village, but we are investigating. However, I feel that this intrusion at this particular time is not just a coincidence. I sense a third party other than the United States government involved here. My fellow men, stay alert. Chief Vitores Mendez? Is that how you read it? I hope I didn't butcher his name. Oh, oh, ammo. Thank you. Almost missed that. Do I have to heal him? I don't have any other healing item. This whole briefcase is a mess. Hold on. Let me see, I'm trying to tidy up here. Okay, this is much better. I combine the ammo so there are more rooms. Oh, I can. Alright. By the way, I think there's a sale on Steam right now. Are you guys buying anything? Would love to buy something, but I don't really have the money right now. So I'm waiting for maybe around winter sale. Still playing with the Xbox Game Pass? Ooh, that's amazing. 100 games? I also have the habit of sorting everything by size and healing and everything in. Yeah, I actually love that part of the game. I like organizing stuff. Oh, what's that? It stings. We're not looking at that, Leon. I'm looking at the sparkly thing. Ooh, more cows. Can I also shot this cow? Oh shit, there's a guy there. I can't shoot it. I can't shoot it. The owner is there. Oh, shh. Oh god. Oh my god. Don't throw stuff at me. I kick you. I can't kick you. Wow, I can't headshot anymore. Oh my god, there's more. Okay, 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 okay. Okay. Lower the lid before hitting the pendant or get lost in the water. Okay. Thanks for the tip. Now let me take care of this guy first. Because he's destroying my vibe. Oh god, don't stab me. I can't afford to get hurt anymore. He's on his last leg. There you go. He's still alive, is he? Shoot him. Shoot him in the head. Oh my god, you missed, Leon. Wow, what a quality gameplay. So what happened if I lost the pendant? Oh, chicken egg? Is that a dog? Hello, dog. Where no, I haven't lost it yet. I haven't done anything with the pendant stuff. Nothing here except a stinking pool of manure. Yikes. Can you imagine the smell? Yeah, the blue pendant. I have not done anything with the blue pendant. It's still there. I have to look around first. My god, why can't he reach that? There you go. If you can shoot every single one of them, you'll get a free handgun at some point of the game. Oh wow. Wait, this blue pendant, right? So is it like a collectible? Ooh. This game just keeps getting better and better. Jump. Okay, jump. What's that blue thing? Oh no. Alright, you. Oh, it's like a rewarding thingy. Ooh, that's nice. I'm assuming it's going to be very well hidden, right? Like most collectibles are. About the blue medallions. 15 blue medallions, 7 in the farm, 8 in the cemetery. For those of you who destroy more than 10 medallions, you will be rewarded. Why can't I hit you in the head? There you go. Okay, so this one, Wingsaw said I have to lower it. How do I lower it? Oh. Think maybe? No, close it! Why did you open it? Leon! What do I do now? Leon, close it for me! Do you have any egg for me? I'm so sad. You can shoot the pendant for money. I don't have to grab it? No, let me get this straight. Is it a very important item? Like maybe a key item, or is it another collectible? If it's very important, I might have to reload the game. Oh my god, why can't you reach it? Reach it, Leon, for me? What the fuck? I think this game is trolling me. It's valuable to sell. Okay. So, I can't get a lot of money from that. You know what? Maybe I have to reload this game. Should I? There are not only things that you can sell. If you lose it, it does not affect the story at all. Okay. So it only affects how much money I can get to buy stuff. Why can't he grab it? Oh my god, he's dead. Okay. No worries, guys. No worries. Now I am forced to reload. I'm forced to reload the game. I got distracted. I didn't know there was a guy there. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, don't open it. Don't open it, Leon. Don't open it. I have to shoot it, right? There you go. Oh no! Oh no! Run. Strike him from afar because you're about to be dead. Oh my god, why won't you die again? Are you still alive? I shot you in the head. Okay, more money. He's essentially just stealing from dead people. Okay, there's one more. One more dude, and he's throwing things at me. There you go. I'm here to steal your egg. Get the egg. Maybe I can use the egg. Yeah, eat this raw egg. Eat it. What is that dog doing there? The dog here? I don't think there's anything there. How about in here? Just a bunch of cows. Oh. Okay. Now he's feeling a little better. And I missed something apparently. More chicken egg. Thank you, chicken. Oh, okay. Have fun with your stream, Wingso. Yeah, I have read this. Now, there's a dude in here. I think. Or is he gone already? At least no more chainsaw guy, right? Or did I just jinx myself? Oh! No, hit it. Hit the barrel. Okay. Oh my god, okay. He's right behind me. Shit, no, don't throw stuff. That's rude. Don't throw stuff at people. No! Okay. You missed! You're just as bad as me. There's one more of them. There you go. Oh, no, 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 no! Are you dead? Are you dead? You're not dead. Why are you still alive? You're resilient. Nothing to see here. Just me walking around without my head on. Okay. Do you have for me shotgun shells? And some money. Do you call that money or just points? Okay, handgun ammo. And nothing else. What do we have here? Is there any more medallion thingy around here? I kinda vaguely remember that. Where? Oh, there it is! No, don't fall down, please. There you go. Oh, don't knock it down. How do you get down now? Okay, raise it up. Still gotta do something up there, I think. Oh, too far away? And nothing. Oh, there's another one. There's another blue medallion here. Oh. Did I miss that? I thought I hit it. There you go. What about here? Is there anything here? Oh, you can't push it? What's happening? How do I get inside there then? He jump down from here? Wait, how do I get over there? Maybe from downstairs. Go back in. The other way. Can I go there? I can't. Yeah, so how do I get over there? I can't push this, thing? Hold on. I think this is the perfect place to save the game again. Just in case somebody shot dead me. Okay, so I can't go over there because it's barricaded. What through here? Can you go through here, Leon? No? You can. Yeah, that way is blocked off. But I can't push it. Am I doing it wrong? I have to go to the other way. Up there? Oh, one moment. My brother is calling me. Okay, I'm back. Is anyone still watching? Sorry, I had to accompany my brother closing the front gate. And then he said, I'm gonna bought some meatballs. So that took a lot longer than I expected. Anyway, I think I have a new follower. Welcome, Fendis. Thank you for following. Halo Arteprensia, masih di sini ya? Here, where was I? Trying to get to that other block path. Yeah, this way. You jump in. Maybe I don't really have to go there yet. Maybe. It's supposed to go to that gate, right? Yep. Okay, let's continue. Let's move on. I wonder what awaits us. Hopefully not the chainsaw guy. Because I'm terrified of him. He's still doing okay, game. Slight decrease in frame rate. Does it say? I've seen the signpost before. The terrifying looking signpost. Oh my god! Quick time event? Are you kidding me? Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hurry, oh my god. Run like hell, dude! What the fuck? This is a quick time event. Okay. You're doing okay. Oh, let me check if there's any item that I missed because I was running. Okay, just some dude throwing stuff at me. So let's ignore that. A bunch of that. What is that? What is that? Spinel. Is that like a gemstone? Another one here. Yep, more spinel. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Okay. Oh, there's a dude there. There's a bomb over there. Yep, there is. What is that? Why is it exploding? Oh, somebody's throwing stuff. Okay, run! Shit! Oh my god, that does so much damage. Should have gone here with an armor, Leon. We hit him. He's even more dangerous. God dang it! He's dead. Shit. Oh my god. Where was I? Oh, okay. Thank god. I thought I had to redo the farm area again. Is there a way to get it without having to waste my ammo? Does anyone know? Hey, watch out for the bomb guy. No, run. God dang it. Rude. Keeps throwing stuff. I have to run. I have to freaking run. Shit. There's a freaking spiders here too. As if it can't get any worse. Shit. No, where are you? Oh, okay. Jump in. Shit. Okay. He's still alive. That guy is also still alive. Okay, time to switch the gun. Not wasting my shotgun ammo. Okay, hand grenade. No clues here. Oh, it's another one. Where are you? I can hear him grunting. I can see him. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Run. Shit, shit, run. God dang it. No. He's almost dead. Oh no, I have to eat the raw egg again. There you go. Not my raw egg. You have anything for me? After all that? Oh, save point, thank you. Even though you're not doing so well. Okay, got the ammo. Is there anything inside the chest? Oh, just some money. It's not just. Why do I say just? It's money. Sounds like some rich bitch saying that. I sound like some rich bitch was saying, it's just money. It's not just money. Oh shit. No. Leon! God dang it, dude! It's not Leon's fault, it's my fault. Oh my god, this is so painful. I don't want to use it yet. You know what? If he's dead, the next load point is near anyway. Okay. Okay, push it. Are there any other rooms that I have not explored maybe? What about upstairs? Is there stairs going up? No? Yeah, anything? No? Is someone in there? Whoa, who are you?
Little rough, don't you think? You're not like them?
No. You?
Okay. I have only one very important question. You got a smoke?
Got gum.
Does he look like he smoke? Oh no.
Perfect.
Who's that?
The big cheese.
What?
What's his name? Big Cheese? What the hell are you doing, Leon? What is he doing? No way you can kick a guy that big. What's happening here? Okay.
Let us give you our power.
Oh no.
Soon, you will become unable to resist this intoxicating power.
What the hell was that? What was that?
Hey. Hey. Wake up.
Ay. Crawl out of one hole and into another.
You want to tell me what's going on here?
Americano.
Okay, so there's a
see?
stuttering.
Now what brings a bloke like you to this part of the world? Oh, hey, easy, whoever you are.
Name's Leon. Came here looking for this girl. Seen her?
What, are you supposed to be a cop or something? Nah, you don't
He
look
was.
Maybe.
He was a
good.
cop.
Okay, let me guess. She's the president's daughter?
That's too good for a guess. Want to start explaining?
Psychic powers. Nah, just kidding with you, amigo. I overheard one of the villagers talking something about the president's daughter in the church.
And who
That
might
is an
you be?
axe.
Me llamo Luis Serra. I used to be a cop in Madrid. But now I'm just a good-for-nothing guy who happens to be quite a ladies' man.
Why'd you quit?
Phew, policia. You put your life on the line, nobody really appreciates you enough for it. Being a hero isn't what it's cracked up to be anymore.
Used to be a cop myself. Only for a day, though.
I thought I was bad.
Somehow I managed to get myself involved with the incident in Raccoon City on my first day in the force.
That is the incident with the viral outbreak, right? I think I might have seen a sample of the virus in a lab at the department.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Do something, cop!
After you.
Ah, shit! That was so close. I didn't know there would be a quick time event there. Damn it, this game.
It's Leon. Sorry I couldn't get in touch sooner, but I was a bit tied up.
You're okay, right?
I'm fine. There was a male civilian held captive. According to him, Ashley's in a church somewhere.
What happened to him?
He managed to escape.
Do you have a fix on the location of that church?
No, but apparently there's a secret passage in the village that leads there. I'm heading back to the village.
Secret passage. He's going back to that village. The one with the impaled guy? Do you have any more ammos for me? No? Where's that other guy? What was his name?
Over here, stranger.
Ooh. Oh, what's that? Rifle ammo. Ammo's rifle around here? Or do I have to buy that? I know that guy is like the American guy.
Got something that might interest you.
How about some weeds, because
Got
we
a
are dying.
selection of good things on sale, stranger.
Don't know if you noticed, stranger, but did you see the blue medallions hanging around in the village? Come back after you've shot more than 10 of them. I've got a specialist gun. I want you to try it out. Tune up.
Buying?
Oh, that's a rifle.
What are you buying?
Attached case M, a medium-sized case. A treasure map. Rifle. EMP. Automatic machine pistol. Custom 9mm. Oh, rocket launcher. A scope for rifle. First aid spray. That's it.
What are you selling?
Oh, this is where I can sell the pearl pendant. Should I do that right now, or
What are
maybe
you
do that
buying?
later? I probably would need the rifle.
Is that all, stranger?
Hold on,
What are
let
you
me see.
buying?
Ooh. Firepower increases the firepower. The speed at which the weapon fires. Reload speed and capacity. Capacity. How did I get confused reading
What
that
are you
word?
buying?
Capacity. Man, the struggle of having English not as your first language. Yeah, let me
that
get the
all?
rifle, I guess. It's I have too many stuff on my briefcase. Okay, you stay here. Well, let me reload this gun. Wait. No worries, I'm not shooting you. You're a good guy. Seriously, can I not combine this? No, can't fit it anywhere. Maybe I have to expand my inventory first.
Welcome. What are you buying? Not enough cash.
Not enough
stranger.
cash? Oh, it's 30,000. Crap.
Is that all?
What about this one? Can I fit it in here? I can't. Okay, fine.
Thank you. Come back any time.
I would probably regret that purchase. But whatever. Wow, this is just like real life. Soon enough, Leon will be having a bio remorse. Yup. Look at that. I think you should have gotten the rifle, dude. Dang it. Alright, let's go anyway. Open it very gently because we don't want anyone to notice we're here. Is there no item on you? Or are you still alive? I think it is. Oh, he's gone. Shit! Okay, 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 okay. Not going anywhere near that. Shit! No, this is panic time. I am truly panicking here. Can I shut the bomb on him? There you go. He's dying, so better to smoke the weed. What's wrong, dude? You got something on your eye? Shotgun shells? What else? Oh! So many of them here. You see? Wow! 2 headshots in a row. I think I'm getting better. Nope. No! I am not doing better. Oh my god! Are y'all dead now? Ooh, first aid spray. No! What the hell are you aiming? No! My god. Yes, continue. Maybe I should have gotten the rifle, but I don't have anywhere else to put it. Leon has a small suitcase. A slight lagging here now. Where is he? Oh,
Got a selection of good. What are you buying?
What am I buying? I want this. Rocket launcher.
What are you buying?
Maybe I should just power up my weapons. The weapons that I do have.
Is that all, stranger? Is that all? Thank you. Is that all? Thank you. What are you buying? What are you buying? Is that
So
all?
going to regret this.
Thank you. Not enough
No,
cash.
okay, not enough cash.
stranger.
Maybe I should sell the pendant. Maybe. Why am I bringing that anyway? I can't wear it. Not going on a
Welcome.
date.
What are you selling?
Here, this pearl pendant. Some spinel. Although small in size, it appears to have some value. It's in pretty good condition, looks valuable.
Ah. Thank you. What are
Okay.
you buying?
Should I get the first aid spray, I guess? Oh, the treasure map. A map that shows the locations of valuable treasures in the village area. You know what? What the hell?
Is that all? Thank you. Come back any time.
This is a first playthrough stream. There's going to be a lot of bad decisions. Gently. Gently. Hey, who's that twink? Probably what he says. Oof. Give me something. Green herb. Thank you. Now you. I can headshot you as well. Apparently not. I got too cocky there. There you go. Oh no. Oh no. There's another one of you? Here. Back up, back up, back up. Okay, now you. What? No headshot? Down you go. Oh shit. Oh shit. Nope, 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 this. You are dangerous. Get away from me. Oh. Why do you have to go down there? I need the items. To go next, I have to go to that house. Oh, oh no. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, retreat. You need to heal. I am this close to panicking. Oh no! Kick him! What is wrong with you? Oh no. Nope. Get away from me. Get away from me. Okay, shotgun shells. Use. There's another one here. Get that. There you go. Wait. Move, Leon. There you are. Oh, no, 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 no! That wasn't the time to reload. Are you still up? Okay. There you go. I bet at some point there's going to be something coming out of the neck area after you headshot the enemies. I just know it. Why you? Oh my god! You lost your head. How the hell can you still grab him? That was pretty terrifying. I did not see that coming. I did not know they can do that. Oof. Okay. Now, is this the perfect time to reload? You switch your weapon. Here, please give me some healing item. Okay, money. That's nice too. What's over here? Oh. Climb. Climb up. You are not dead. There you go. Oh, so much money. What's that? That looks like a valuable chest. Emblem. Right half. There's going to be the left half somewhere. Where is it? No. Jump down. Jump down, dude. Okay, maybe go through here. Go all the way up, perhaps? There's a lot of dudes here. Hit him again. Right on the head. Oh! Jeez. Just fucking kick him. That's the left half. He's dying. I have no more grass to heal. No. That's not a good sentence. I don't have any more grass I can use to heal myself. That's what I was trying to say. The herb, the green herb. Why are they still up? Ugh. Maybe it's time for me to use a freaking grenade. Nope. You absolutely missed that. I could have hit this, but you know, I'm an idiot. Let's switch the gun. We're not wasting our shotgun shells. Oh, he's right behind me. Shit! No! What is wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I have to do that all over again. Ugh.
Got a selection of... What are you selling? Thank you. What are you buying? What are you selling?
Maybe I can sell the spinel.
Is that all, stranger? Is that all, stranger?
Sell it.
Is that all? Thank you.
Oh.
Welcome.
Hold on. I can
What are you
buy
buying?
the attached case M.
Is that all, stranger? Thank you.
So now my inventory is much bigger. You know what? Maybe I have to put this right down here. Oh! Press the wrong button. And you here. Okay, it doesn't fit. What am I doing? What the hell am I doing? Of course it won't fit.
Come back any time.
Okay. Hit the other barrel around here. Yep. This barrel. I think I missed it before. Use it. And now you're feeling better. Whoa. It's flying. This weapon is still flying. And you dead. A bunch of you with the bomb now. Woo! Yes! That was smooth as fuck. My god. Oh. No, 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 no. Go. Go. Let's go. Let's go. We're not dealing with that shit. Not dealing with that shit. God dang it. At least I'm doing much better than before. So that's good, right? Get that? Whoa! Wow, sneaky bastard. Just evade that. I didn't know you can do that. Okay. Got to reload. Let me hit you in the head. There you go. Oh, shit. Shit. Don't grab me. Why are you grabbing me? You have no head anymore. My god, am I just wasting ammo here? Okay. Time to retreat. Oh. So many of them there. That doesn't work. What am I doing? What the hell am I doing? Are y'all dead now? Okay. Oh my god. Any more people here? They all gone. Good. Okay, going up here. Oh my god! I got jump scared by a freaking bomb. Shit! Oh my god. Where the hell is it? Rude. Where is it? I definitely need a rifle. Okay, now jump down. Let's go here. Maybe there's some herbs here. Nope. Of course there's no herbs. Not making this easy for you. Whoa. Where? Oh my god, okay. No, no, I'm dead again. Shit. was doing so well till that freaking guy throwing a bomb at me. It's a dynamite, right? No, no need to save, we've done that. Okay, heal yourself. Nice. Then sell the pearl necklace.
Got a selection of... What are you selling? Ah.
What am I selling? This pearl necklace that I just happened to found.
Is that all,
Oh.
stranger? Is that all, Is that all, stranger? Is that all? What are you buying? Is that all,
Try.
stranger?
There's a way for me to... Nope. This thing is too big. Okay, let me tidy it up. You here? What else? Ooh. Maybe I can sell some of the grenades. Maybe.
What are you selling?
That flash grenade.
Is that all, stranger? Is that all? Thank you. Come.
Does it fit now? Nope, it's still not fit. One moment. I can free up some space by reloading these. Shotgun. Does it work now? Hopefully it can. Please.
What are you buying? Is that all?
It still fit. It's not fit. Doesn't fit anywhere. Oh my god. Okay, maybe not the rifle. How about you?
Thank you. What are you buying? Is that all? Not enough cash.
Okay, not enough cash.
Is that all? Thank you.
This. Let's try this. Okay, so to keep myself from going to that guy over and over again, I'm just going to save. Let's go. We can do this. We can do this. Oh, shut up. Such a blabbermouth. Ugh. Now you. Oh. Jump out. My god, Leon. Now it's lagging because there are too many monsters around here. Oh no. And you. No, 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 no. I gotta go. I gotta go. You have the freaking dynamite. I'm not going anywhere near you. Oh. Keep throwing things. That's rude. Is that it? Ooh, more money. Nice. How many do I have now? Not a lot. Nothing? Oh shit! It's a much worse run than before. Oh no. That's the guy with the dynamite again. No, run! I think it run, dude. Not going there. I am not going there. Let's go. Oh shit. Okay. More money. Get up. Okay, watch out for any dynamite guy. Keep using this gun. I'm supposed to. Okay. We got the right half. I just need the other one. Let's go. Do I have any healing items? No. Just that, um, that one. The mixed herb one. Oh, thank you. Ooh. Dang it. Stop that. Okay, maybe you should stay here. They're going to be swarming you. Okay, too many of them. No, don't grab me. Oh, okay, one more. Of course, I gotta reload. No, nothing. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yep, let's go. It's time to run, dude. Oh no, oh no, oh no! Udahan dong. Please. Okay, got the other half. Destroy this too. I go from here. Here, let's go. Oh no! Whew. Now, this is the door. Combine this. Okay, now let's go. My god, finally. Out of that place. Now, where are we? This looks more industrial. A factory, maybe? Like a mining place. Nope. Nothing in there. And still nothing. Come on, give me something, please. Oh. Okay. And gun ammo. Yeah, this is definitely looks like a mining area. Or a factory. What's that? Another necklace? It looks just as valuable though. Wow. Nice job, Leon. Okay, another one. Oh, clever. That's very clever of you. Hiding your face like that. Can't hide from my bullet though. Oh shit. And you. Shit. Oh, oh my god. Stop. Stop evading me. My god. No item? What about the other ones? Nothing? Oh! Thank you. Obviously need all of the... Oh shit! My god. My god. Like you got something on your face. No! Okay, I got too cocky. I'm sorry. Kick him. Why? Why are you like this? I swear to God. Am I? Okay. If the game forced me to have to go through that other level again, I think I might quit. Ooh. More money, thank you. Wow, that was good. I'm glad Leon was dead, I guess. Because I had to load the game again. Now the reward is much better. Okay, that one has nothing. Hey, don't be such a blabbermouth. Uh-oh. Okay. Too many of them around. Oof. Okay. There you go. What's over here? I need to grab that valuable looking thing from the other side of that room. Oh! Oh my god! No, 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 no. Stay behind this. As long as it doesn't come here, I think you're good. Okay. Now you. You still alive? Okay, I need to reload. I'm safe as long as I'm behind here, so that's really good. Look at that flying rake. Do you guys see that? Nope, I missed again. Oh! I can't crouch. I don't have to. Obviously, okay, there's a bunch of traps here. Watch your step, Leon. Leon, watch your step. Ugh. Okay. Where's the rest of it? There's more here. Watch your step. There you go. Maybe this is the room with the crown thing? Maybe? Oh, take it. Oh, there's another one. Another barrel. There's nothing there, sadly. Hey, where is it? I'm not going down there. I need to check the other room. Can't jump through that. Where is it? Own it! Oh no! See? Oh my god. I did not watch my step. Okay, where was it again? Check the map. I can't see. I can't see the map in this building. Is it over here? It's right there. Okay. There's a window with some boarded up wood. No, that's not a correct way to say that. The window is boarded up. Okay. I have to get used to talking in English. Oh, can open this? Ooh, thank you. There's some traps. Watch it. Okay, where is the boarded up window? Is it this one? Oh, okay. There you go. Elegant mask. Nothing else, I guess. Ooh, what's on there? Okay. Ooh. Oh. You don't have to do that. I don't have a very good aim anyway. Okay, down you go. What's up here? Oh. No, 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 no. I want to go down. Can I go back, please? Please, can I go back? Okay. No, he can go down here. There's probably some stuff here. No, don't climb up. Why? Why? Want to check out this stuff. There's some fish here. Can I shoot it? Oh! What's happening to the fish? Oh! Just grab it with your bare hands, Leon. the, the fish is way too big. Okay. What do I do? Okay, I can't reload the shotgun. Then maybe bring this. Oh, bring this down here. Now, will it fit the fish? That's the question. It won't fit. Because the fish is freaking big. It's bigger than my freaking guns. Alright. Maybe I can grab that fish. But the other fishies. I really want this fish though. Look at it, it's so big. Do I have to maybe sacrifice some of my stuff? Nah. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more fish in the future. So pretty much I killed that fish for nothing. Oh boy. Okay, where are you? You're back on the village. Yep. It's the area from beginning. Okay. don't open it. Don't open it. Don't open it. There you go. Oh, maybe this is the other gate. The one that was blocked before. What is happening here? The vibe is kind of different. Does this signpost mean more booby traps? Sideways that? Yep. Thank God. Oh, where is this? What is that? It's a large crystal ball. It looks like it rotates. Huh? There you go. Not that hard of a puzzle. Whoa. That was the dude from before. The one that injected Leon with some alien shit. Insignia key. Is that the key for the gate? They are all textbooks written in English, but I don't have time to read them. Why not? Let's just chill here. Chief's note. As instructed by Lord Sadler, I have the agent in confinement. Alive. Why keep him alive? I do not fully understand what the Lord's intentions are. I would, however, think he would keep them separate, not confine them together as has been ordered. I don't expect Louise would trust a stranger, but if by chance they did cooperate, the situation could get a bit more complicated. If for some reason an unknown third party is involved, I don't think they'll let a chance like this slip by. But maybe it's all Lord Sadler's ploy, leaving us vulnerable so that this third party will surface. If they even exist, that is. It's an unlikely possibility, but if a prowler is already amongst us, then our plans could be ruined. I guess the Lord thinks it's worth the risk, if we are able to stop whatever conspiracy is at work. At any rate, it's the Lord's call. We will trust his judgment as always. Oh, how many money do I have now? 20,000. Amazing.
Nuestro jefe se cuidará de la rata. Si la plaga es mucho mejor que la nuestra.
Oh my god.
You carry the same blood as us, it seems. Nevertheless, you're an outsider. Just remember, if you become unpleasant to our eyes, you'll face severe consequences.
What? Same blood.
Hit ratio 75%? That's pretty good for someone like me who has pretty terrible aim. Okay, maybe I'll do some more until 1 a.m. and then I have to. No, not 1 a.m. Maybe around.
Leon, I've been able to get some new info that might help you.
Fill me in.
Apparently, there's a religious cult group involved. They're called the Los Illuminados.
Los Illuminados. That's a mouthful. Anyway, I had an unexpected run-in with the big cheese of this village.
But you're okay, right?
Yeah, but he could have killed me, but he let me live. And he mentioned something about me carrying the same blood as them. Whatever that means.
Carry the same blood. Huh. Interesting.
Anyway, there are more important things than solving riddles right now.
You're right. Hurry and find that church, Leon.
Oh yeah, what I was saying. Maybe I can stream until around 12:30. Oh, look at that menacing face. The items around here? There's a door here. But that's where I came from. What's in here? Oh! Were you doing your business there? I'm sorry. But I can't let you go alive. Because you're gonna bite my face. Why won't you die? There you go. Nothing? Great. Looks like they use toilets. Guess they're at least somewhat civilized. What do you mean, Leon? This is probably some place in Spain. Is it? This must be a painting of that church. I hope Ashley is still okay. Okay. Looks like a mansion. It's a painting of a lake. Maybe it's around here somewhere? Probably? Ooh. More money. Where's that merchant guy though? It looks like the people here carry out their lives like ordinary people. They even read books. I mean, they are humans. What were you expecting? They're just slightly murderers. But like humans are murderers. Oh, check. Looks like the people in this house eat like normal humans. Leon sounds like a white boy that just visited a third world country. Of course they eat. Didn't you see that they have farms? Oh shit, no, no. No. Oh, not that guy.
Run.
No. Makasih Arto ya. No. That sound alert actually scared me. Get the fuck away from me. Can I just steal his chainsaw? Oh, you're not about to throw shit at me. Why is he still alive? Oh! Shit! Are you dead? You're not dead. How are you not dead? What the hell do I do with this guy? Still not dead. Maybe I can blinded him. There you go. Oh, Ruby! That guy has a ruby on him? It's time, Leon. Steal his chainsaw. That chainsaw is a powerful weapon. It can one-shot kill you. Oh no. More of them? As long as it's not the chainsaw guy, I'm fine. Shit. No, get the fuck away from me. Okay. He's still alive. There you go. Ah. Do I have any green herb? Thank you. Thank you. I can combine it with the other one I have. Oh. Oh. Wait, why did I do that? Oh my god, I just used the egg. Sometimes my brain just went to autopilot like that. Oh, oh. He has the rake. Go away. Oh. Shoot her head. There you go. Okay, that's it. Unbar the door. Oh. Am I hearing chainsaw again? No, right? Oh shit. Oh no. This is not worth it. Let's just go. Okay, let's go. I at least use my freaking grenade. That didn't hit a lot of people. Oh no! My god. And you. Oh, thank you. Now you get down there. How the hell did he get in here anyway? He's still not dead. Oh, oh. There you go. That took a couple tries. And there's one more there. Nothing? Aww. Okay, so this door, right? Is there a save point here? Yeah, there's nothing inside that box. Come on. Is this the church that he's looking for? Or maybe not. Maybe this is just the way out of this village. Oh. What's that? Do that? Ooh. Spinner. Oh, we're going underground. Feeling a little claustrophobic right now. This place looks kind of narrow. There's going to be enemies here, right? Anything in there? Ooh. Elegant headdress. Some spinel. You. It's probably another spinel. Yeah.
Got something that might interest you.
Oh, it's him!
Got some rare things on sales.
So, stranger, any luck with the blue medallions? Remember? Shoot more than 10 to get your specialized gun.
What are you buying? What are you
Wait.
buying? What are you selling?
I can sell some stuff.
Is that all? Thank you. Is that all? Thank you. What are you buying?
A stock for the 9mm fully auto TMP absorbs and spreads out 80% of the recoil forces for increased shooting stability and comfort. Is my voice dying? Okay. I need these. Attach case M.
Is that all? Thank you.
Because I need a bigger space for my inventory. Here. Then these ammos here. I should be able to buy the rifle now.
Welcome.
So I have to sell one of the
What are you selling?
loot. Yeah, this. Maybe the brass pocket watch. There are signs of use, but this brass watch may still be worth something.
Is that all, stranger? Is that all? Thank you. Ah, I'll buy. Thank you. What are you buying? Is that all?
Oh, it still doesn't fit. Hold on.
Come.
How about now?
Back any time. What are you buying? Is that all? Thank you.
Okay. is the right way, right? Yep. Are those blue things the... Oh, submission. I thought those blue things are the medallion place? Maybe. Or maybe not. I'm just guessing. Oh, this is a cemetery area. White frame drop around here. Oh. Yeah, I think those blues are the medallion. Oh shit. Oh my god. Where? Oh, get away from her. No! Oh! God dang it, dude, you're almost dead. Okay. Someone else is trying to join the party. Nope. Blech. Nothing. But there's something here. Oh, take it. Okay, shoot it. Where the hell am I aiming? There you go. There are 3 more here. 5. 6. Maybe there's another one? Oh, okay. Oh no. That's not fair. You're bringing a dynamite. I'm just using some guns here. Yeah, there's another one. Another medallion here. Eh, can I shoot it? Huh. Other way? Oh, not the other way.
Leon, have you reached the church yet?
Well, yeah. Sort of.
Leon, did I mention not to take the scenic route? At any rate, Ashley's probably inside that structure. Rescue her, hurry!
Easier said than done, dude. Like, I'm fighting human zombies here. Oh, maybe I have to use the rifle. It's even more difficult to aim with the freaking rifle. There you go. Here, I can't go here. It's locked.
Hunnigan, it's Leon. The door's locked. I can't get in.
Didn't they teach you how to pick locks at the academy?
Yeah. There's some sort of indentation, like something might fit inside.
Well, there's no use standing around. Leon, you have to find some way or something to get inside.
I can't lockpick. That's Jill's job. Jill can do that, not me. It won't budge. It's gotta be locked from the other side. Oh my god. Oh no. Dang it. Stop with the freaking dynamite, please. Oh no, I just wasted another ammo there. 3 family insignias of the dead ringers. It looks like the dial only turns clockwise in either 3 or 4 increments. Okay. Or oh, what? That's it? I thought I had to make all the buttons light up. What is that green thing for? Was it? Oh, it's treasure. Green cat eye. The marking on the stone indicates that it once was set in something, but what? Nevertheless, a rare gem. Or something that I can sell. Oh no. Oh no! Shit! You gotta go. You gotta go. God. Oh, Leon. Oh, Leon. Leon's about to be dead again. Where was the medallion? I saw that. It's down there. there's another one here. Another one down there, yeah. Nice. Oh. Closure of the church. Regarding the two fugitives, the apprehension of Louis is our top priority. The American agent a distant second. What Louis stole from us is far more important than the girl. Unless we get it back, the girl will become useless to us. Let's get it back to execute our plan to the end. If it gets in the wrong hands, the world will become a totally different place than what Lord Sadler has envisioned. At all costs, we must not let that happen. Nevertheless, we're not letting go of the girl. Ensure that the agent does not get to her. I have locked the church door where the girl is being held. Anyone who needs access to the church must first get approval by Lord Sadler. There is a key beyond the lake, but it should be safe now that the Del Lago has been awakened by our Lord. No one will get across the lake alive. Plus, our same blood courses through the agent's veins. It will be just a matter of time before he joins us. Once he does, there will be nobody else left that will come looking for that girl. Oh no, that's a freaking snake! Shit! What? Even snake can get in there? Go. At least you're not a zombie snake. Another one. Another medallion down there. It's so hard to aim it. Here. Oh. There you go. I have 10 now. The merchant guy said I can get a special price after I get 10 of them. Oh, new area? Oh, a bunch of crows. This looks like a boss battle place. Is it? It has to happen soon. Leon hasn't faced any or enemies that are much harder to fight. Except the chainsaw dude, but I can manage him just fine now. is over here? Is that a American guy? Oh, save point. Thank you. Is this maybe his shop? Doesn't exactly look like the kind of place that would be brimming with customers.
Got some rare things on.
Well done, stranger. I see you've shot more than 10 medallions. Like I promised, go claim your specialized gun in the buy screen. Don't worry about money. This one's on the house.
What are you buying?
Oh, Punisher. Does that mean I should discard this one?
Thank you. What are you buying? Not enough cash.
Not enough
stranger.
cash?
What are you selling? Is that all? Thank you. Is that all? Thank you. What are you buying?
Think I can buy maybe? A scope and a stock. I want that rocket launcher.
Is that all? Thank you.
And combine these, right? Okay. Equip the new handgun. Okay, I guess I'll do until 1 a.m. Then I have to go to bed. Wake up early tomorrow because I still need to finish my thesis. The deadline is a lot sooner than I expected. Don't know if I can manage to finish it. Fingers crossed that I do. Because I will really love to get to graduate this semester. Oh, Wingso, thank you so much for the raid! Welcome back! I have multiple alerts on because the last time there was someone following me, but the Streamlabs alert didn't got it. The alert didn't pop off, so I didn't have the chance to say thank you. Follower. Wait, what do I do here? Don't think I can go through that way yet. Oh yeah, welcome back, Wingso. What were you playing? What did you stream? What game did you play? Anyway, I got the better handgun now because I shot 10 medallions. And that's pretty much what you miss. Oh, Pokemon Unite and Call of Duty Mobile. Fun. Is Pokemon Unite a mobile game? Or is it also a console game? Oh, heads up. Someone's going to throw a boulder. Right? Maybe? Because this looks kinda dangerous. Yep. Are you a little tired from not sleeping? You should get some sleep. Doing so? And I'm dead. Oh, you played with a USB capture. I think I'm going to play for another half an hour, and then I also have to go to bed and get some sleep. I didn't get much sleep myself the other day. I had to stay up late until maybe around 30 a.m. because I have to finish my thesis. And it's far from finished, sadly. Okay, gotta focus. There's a quick time event here. I'm sprinting. I'm freaking sprinting. Let's go, let's go, let's go. What? I did dodge. What the hell are you talking about, game? How is that adventure with Leon going? Well, Leon is being chased by a freaking boulder just now. I swear I pressed the dodge button. It didn't happen though. I think he's trying to get inside the church now. Oh, this is nice. Wait, you could only see a black screen? Really? Can you see it now? I got distracted because you said you can only see a black screen. So I thought maybe my OBS did something again. Looks fine though, right? Oh, only when you go running, but you can't see. Okay, let me take care of this bit. No, no green herb. Maybe I should let the boulder hit Leon again until I get another herb. Yeah, it's usually happen with emulator games. I'm sprinting. I'm freaking sprinting. What do you want me to do? There you go. Is it safe now? Okay, let's move on. Okay. Somebody is standing there. Approach carefully. Stop it, you're so loud. It's like lagging in here. Oh! Oh shit. I almost didn't see that. There you go. Come here. Don't hide there. Come here. Don't be shy about it. Let me shoot your head. Oh my god. There you go. You're not dead. Oh! Finally down. Oh no. God dang it, that guy's head just exploded. Oh, no, no, it's another snake. Shit. Oh, let's check out the other situation. What is that? Oh, that's the snake. Is it perfect now? Cool. Why? There's so many of them here. I didn't realize. So a lot of them is down here, huh? Okay, hand grenade. You can use that now? Ooh! That works well. Okay, you need to heal, Leon. Oh my god. Have I upgraded? I did upgraded my handgun. I think I've upgraded my shotgun as well. I think. Ooh. Only one of you now. Yeah. Nice. And you. Okay, another place I can check out. How about here? Oh, this is where I came from. many of them here? Is it just this dude? Oh! And he just turned around. He walks around with no heads on. Oh, okay. What about this way? Is there anything? Anything here? Somebody's throwing sickle. You can't catch me. You can't catch me. Yeah, so I think I did upgraded my shotgun. I don't remember what I upgraded it for. Oh, I didn't see you there, pal. Oh shit. Okay, you don't have your weapon anymore. Now you. Ugh. Are you gonna turn around? What is it doing? It's just stumbling around. Oh, it's a snake again. Shit. No, 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 no. What's over here? Where am I going? We just have to go to the church. Whoa, what's over here? Look, there's a bunch of shit. And the frame rate is looking kind of funny. Oh, yellow herb. Nice. Now I can combine you. And put you here. Okay, no worries. Get something tasty, okay? Um, I also need to drink some water. I'll be right back. hydrated. Yeah, the frame drop is dropping around here. Oh, there's a lake. I suppose this is the right way. Because, they did say that I have to go to the lake to find a way to get inside the church. So, what are you eating, Wingso? Are you having lunch, maybe? It's probably in the middle of the day there, right? Oh, what am I doing? Do I have to go somewhere? Oh, okay. Of course, it's not going to be a very easy ride. Did you see that for a split second there? That Leon has no hair. I guess it takes a while for the emulator to load the graphics. Oh crap. What do I do here? Whoa! No, no, what is happening? Let's go, let's go. I'm pressing, I'm pressing. Oh, the audio is kind of stuttery. Can I heal maybe? It's like he's almost dying. Oh, what the hell? Let's do this. Seriously, is there a way for me to avoid that? Oh my god, that's so far away! Hurry, hurry Leon! You're not gonna make it. It's too fast. Do I just have to keep throwing the, what do you call that? Throwing the weapon? Like multiple times? Okay. Nothing. Okay, there you go. Oh! What the hell? Hurry, 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 hurry. Hey, he really is dying. I have to heal him. Otherwise, he won't make it to the boat again. Do it, Leon. Oh, wait that, please. Where is it? Oh, the lag. Lag is not helping me. Where is it? Oh. Oh. What the hell was that? It sounds like there was an explosion outside. Alright, good night, Camgive. Have a good night's sleep. Oh no, no. Again, thanks for joining me. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Come on, Leon. There you go. Okay, he needs to heal again. Keep throwing at it, okay. Okay, where is it? Oh. I'm throwing. My god, why is it still alive? Oh, finally. Oh, what's happening? Probably quick time event again. Hurry. There you go. Oh, what is happening? Oh, that's the end of the chapter. I only died 4 times. Ooh! Oh no!
Leon, it's been 6 hours since our last transmission. I was starting to get worried.
Don't you mean lonely? Anyway, I started to feel dizzy, and then I guess I must have lost consciousness.
Lost consciousness? Maybe that has some connection to what the village chief was talking about.
Can't say. But I'm all right now. I'm gonna continue my mission.
Okay, he's still not at the church, but he did manage to kill the fish monsters, which I think was the boss battle, I suppose. This should be the perfect place for me to save and then end the stream, because it's almost 1 a.m. anyway. I gotta read this document first though. Anonymous letter. There's an important item hidden in the falls. If you're able to get it, you might be able to get Ashley out of the church. But I warn you, the route to the church isn't a walk in the park by any means. They have deployed what's called an Gigante? El Gigante? So God bless. About what's been going in your body, if I could help you, I would. Fortunately, it's beyond my power. Okay, any other items? Check. Nothing unusual. There's nothing there? Okay. See? Nothing else. So yeah, I'm going to save here and then... Oh! Wait, I totally missed this one. Ammo here. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to save here. And I'll have to pretty much end the stream right here. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for Arteprencia, Wingso, Kamgiv. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, Arteprencia, Wingso, and Kamgiv for joining me on tonight's stream. Also, thanks for the new follower. Let me see, what was your name again? Fandis. Thank you so much for the follow, Fandis. And also, thanks to Wingso for the raid. This is a very fun stream, like, I really had a lot of fun. Especially in the beginning, because this chainsaw guy really scared the shit out of me. Okay, so hopefully once I've managed to finish my thesis, or once I'm done with all of that stuff, I hope I can stream way more regularly. Sad that I don't get to stream like as much as I could, because I like playing video games and I like talking to you guys. Alright, so that's it for tonight's stream. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope I'll see you guys again on the next stream, which will be, I don't know when, hopefully soon. So yeah, thank you and good night.